Right, okay. I'm going to hope that we're live. I did a 20-minute pre-budget thing on this latest blog earlier. Here it is on my YouTube channel. Back to the blog. So if we answer the last question first, or the question before now first, the end of the blog is now finishing off with this short introduction to a discussion on the money markets between Catherine Austin Fitz here on the left and John Titus here on the right. In the blog I did about the SVP Steph Pomboy calling it John Titus 14th of March thing, that there are articles on Solari which John Titus has written. There's a link also to a presentation he gave on the Going Direct Doctors for COVID Ethics presentation, which happened at the height of the pandemic, etc. So that's going full circle because this blog starts with John Titus or at least it did. Now, halfway down, it's got John Titus. It starts actually with now this Melissa Kwame, Eyes on Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse, you see here, Yahoo Finance. Oh, they've recovered a bit. They were down 25% about half an hour ago. There we are. So they've recovered some of the ground that they've lost today, and that's still a lot to be down in a day. So where are we? Post budget. This is what's happening in the various stocks. FTSE 100 here is down 3.23%. Right. Are we open here? Let's just have a look here. This is the BBC 15-minute delay on market data. Okay, right. So the Dow, so the stock exchanges, the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500 are all open in New York, Chicago. So here we go, and they've opened all down a fair bit. And the bond market, they're all down slightly. The US is down a lot more than well, that's interesting. Let's just have a look at this. Okay, so doing this on the hoof is doesn't make for the greatest viewing experience, I know, but these are for my own notes as much as anything. So we went through all of this earlier, and the screen capture gave out at the end of the earlier video. This new one I've just tack on the end here. Just get down. Yeah, now these Barclays figures, I'm going to say here, here we are. So this is the 10th of March. JP Morgan investment note on Silicon Valley Bank, and then it's comparing its own position. And if you remember, there was this is JP Morgan Chase solvent paper that was done and referred to by John Titus back. So this came out last November, I think it was, and Titus's thing was February the 14th. Then, of course, the FDIC stuff came out, and 1st of March, Steph Pomboy's tweet here, and then we've had all the fuss since, and then the budget today. Now, Hunt did say about how he was up, all weekend with Rishi, burn the midnight oil to save SV, Silicon Bank's UK subsidiary with HSBC. Talking about giving money into artificial intelligence, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, life sciences, all of these claiming huge benefits from the jabs during the pandemic, etc. All of which claims they're substantially there in the narratives, but not necessarily in the empirical evidence, shall we say. So the ESG Kleptocracy, Mark Carney there, Brian Moynihan, head of Bank of America. Yeah, so we got to this one here. So this is the Danielle DiMartino booth saying, look at corporate bonds and the junk bonds, etc. I mentioned a bit further up the collapse of Northern Rock in the UK, which is a small mortgage lending bank who effectively, borrowing in the short-term markets, lending loan, couldn't make capital. It's a similar story to what's happened to Silicon Bank, but different because they're different types of banks. So I talked about the different subtexts of the different objectives with all of these things. So I watched a bit of UK column after the budget. I noted that Simon Elmer's got 2 articles, both of which are relevant to the general context here, central bank digital currency, and then the politics of environmental fundamentalism, ESG, green fascism, whatever. And then I put this in here because this is CJ Hopkins, who mentions Dr. Fabio Vigu's on the joint thing that he's speaking on. There's that brilliant article again from Professor Vigu. And then this Catherine Austin Fitz, we need to talk about Mr. Global. Part 4 hasn't appeared, but 3 parts there. And then CJ Hopkins and Catherine Austin Fitz. Two very long interviews here. I haven't listened to either of these, but they're in here. I've never heard of Trish Wood, but they came up when I did a search. And then that just brings us back full circle to John Titus and Catherine Austin Fitch with a brief conversation they had on March the 2nd on a BitChute channel. So no conclusions as yet from this, but this just rounds off it's not even a commentary on today's blog, but I'm going to wrap it up there, plonk that in broadcast.